Hey there friends, welcome back. My name is Lauren and this is Han Acre. We are about 8 weeks away from our last expected frost here in Northeast Pennsylvania. We're in zone 6B, and this week I have more seeds to sow, and I wanted to show kind of an update on the soil blocks and the seeds that I sowed in my last video, which at this point was almost 2 weeks ago. If you remember from that video, I sowed the bulk of my peppers, herbs, and a couple different kinds of flowers. As far as germination goes, I've had some mixed results. I am attributing that to me having to figure out how our growing space now is different from our old house. Like everything is just a little bit different than what I'm used to for the past however many years, 10 years. There are some things that are doing well, and there are some things that are not doing so well. Let's talk about the things that are not doing so well first. My snapdragons. This is terrible. Each day that I'm checking, I'm getting a few more little sprouts, but definitely not what I was hoping for. Some of my peppers are just taking their sweet time. Some things that are doing well are my herbs. So on this tray, I've got parsley over here and basil over here. Anything that has not been doing as well as I like, or is just a little bit lazy, I am going to re-sow just in case. It's a little bit hard to see here, but this is actually pretty good germination. My helper from the last video was a little bit heavy-handed in some of these blocks, and then other blocks not so much. So I think I'm probably gonna end up sowing a few more blocks of each herb just to be safe. But these guys really overall are looking quite nice. Peppers. So these are all Lady Bell. These guys are looking pretty good. Not every variety is going to germinate and in the same amount of time or need the same conditions. And I kind of take on that risk when I sow them, when I sow different varieties on trays like this. In addition to some of my re-sowing that I'm going to be doing today, I need to sow the rest of my peppers, my large tomatoes, and some flowers. Oh, an eggplant. So I already have my blocks made. I had to do some math to figure out what kind of trays I needed to use and how many of each thing I needed. It's a lot. I am going to head out into the garage to my work table and start seeding. So another part of my learning curve is figuring out how to set everything up so that you can see what I'm doing and I'm not cutting off my head. I have this really nice work area, but I'm finding it a little bit difficult to find the right arrangement here. All right, let's get going. What do we have first? Bells. Okay, so for bells, I like California Wonder, and I like Lady Bell. I also like King of the North. It's a shorter season pepper, and it gives a nice big meaty pepper. I don't like a wimpy bell. I want a big hackin' bell pepper, okay? Unfortunately, that variety is one of the things that I was unable to secure for this year. And there were a couple things. So King of the North was one that I get all the time. I had like a few seeds left, so I planted that. And hopefully they'll do something. So King of the North. Oh, my favorite jalapeno pepper for us, not for sale. We like this pepper because it has fantastic jalapeno taste, but very little heat. And that variety is called Felicity. One year, I planted, I think it was jalafuego, and I made poppers. We put them in the smoker. We were so excited to eat them. They looked and smelled amazing. Could not eat them. Couldn't even eat the filling because it was so hot. After that experience, I started growing this Felicity pepper, and they're just so good. I do grow jalapenos with some heat for sale because other people like hot. And every once in a while we'll have like, we call it pepper roulette, where if you're picking, like this happens mostly at the end of the year, if we're doing like the end of the year clean pick, and oh, these are all jalapenos. Yeah, well, some of them are hot and some of them are not. So it's a fun game to play. Yeah, I gotta watch the dates on these guys because some of these I think are too old, and that's why I'm getting wonky germination. I didn't always grow to this scale. So when you're not growing a ton at a time, it just, you end up not using a whole packet or just having too many seeds. And I always give seeds a try because I do try and store them well, keeping them dry, out of direct light, things like that. But you never know. I just want to say thank you to Home Seeds for adding a zipper top on top of many of your seed packets. What a game changer. Right now I'm seeding California Wonder, and I like this one also because it is, again, a larger pepper. Another one that I like is Golden Giant, which I think was another one I wasn't able to find. Either wasn't able to find it or the price was insane. If it's something I like and I know is going to sell well, I don't mind paying a little bit more. But I don't know if anyone else has experienced this year specifically. I noticed it, but just some of the seed prices are out of control. I'm going to grab some potting soil. Picked up our order from the greenhouse supply store today, so I have my fresh potting soil. What a great feeling. Hey, bud. You want to say hi to your fans? Hi. Okay, so as you can imagine, I ended up having a lot of extra background noise after this point. So I'm just going to talk you through some of my favorite large tomato varieties, which is what you are watching me sow right now. Tomatoes are a popular item for us, both as plants in the spring and then later in the season as the tomatoes themselves come in. So I definitely dedicate a lot of my space and soil blocking to tomatoes. Some of my favorite large fruiting varieties are Big Beef, Celebrity, Mortgage Lifter, German Johnson, Striped German, and I also included Amish Paste in this round of seeding, even though it is more of a plum variety and not necessarily a large slicer tomato. I've grown a lot of different tomato varieties over the years, and I feel like I've finally kind of narrowed it down to the varieties that really work best for us in our conditions and also give the fruit size, quality, and yield that I am looking for. for me to feel comfortable, number one, sending this out as a plant, and number two, having it be a profitable plant when I'm growing it for myself. Okay, so I am all done sowing my seeds for this week. You might be wondering what this is about. So I have just like baking cooling racks that I put on top of the heat mat, this large heat mat, because last year I found that it was making the small blocks especially a little bit too hot as far as soil temperature. It was increasing just too much. Oh, hi Claude. Get out of here. Okay, so Claude's here. Hi. If you see his tail. Oh, and Grace is here too. The whole gang is here. What was I saying? I don't know. Oh, the cooling racks. So I put these on the heat mat just to give a little bit of a buffer between the trays and the mat. Everybody's crashing me today. I've resown my snapdragons. I didn't show that because they're a pain, because they're like a grain of sand. So snapdragons, peppers, resow, and then this big tray. Yeah, look out. This big tray is all of my large tomatoes. Claude, get out of here. Next time I sow, it will be any low germination rates, specifically with these large tomatoes, and then my smaller fruiting tomatoes. And also we'll be getting into more flowers, and that'll be at 6 weeks. So not this coming week, but the following week, because right now we're at 8 weeks out from our last expected frost. All of these blocks will stay on heat. I'll put some humidity domes over them just to help with that process of cracking the seed coat, softening the seed coat, and allowing for proper germination. They will stay on heat until I have about 50% germination, and then they will get moved to light. That is all I have for you today. I hope you will join me next time in our Sew Along With Me in 6B series of 2024. Would you like to be in as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just lay down so you can be in.
I can't really sit because of Claude.
Yeah, I know. Now you know how I feel. Jeez. As always, thank you so much for joining us. If you have not done so already, please take a moment to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all of our homestead happenings. We'll see you next time on Hawn Acre. Oh my gosh. Oh!